Hello everybody, Splatoon Kid 9000 here.
Today, we are playing Subnautica once again. Now I know what you're thinking. Why exactly do I have a character of myself on screen? And why am I talking so clearly for an Xbox video? Well, let me explain. When I recorded this video, I looked back at the footage and then realized that it had no audio of my voice in it. And because of that, I still had the gameplay audio, but none of my voice in the actual video itself. I then came to the conclusion that I must have not realized that my mic was actually muted while I was recording. God damn it. Because it had a lot of important parts in it, I wasn't just going to delete the footage and move on, so I decided to do a commentary instead. So strap tight everyone, because today we're going to explore this planet once again. But what exactly happened in the last episode? Well, in the last video, we barely managed to escape an exploding spaceship called the Aurora. And the landing may have been rough, but we did survive. Here we go. After managing to put out some flames, and booting up our PDA, we find the Aurora in a wreckage.
They're those bird things. Hello. Oh yeah.
There was no way for us to get back into space, uncertain if there are any survivors that could help us, and of course, no way to get back home. We are stranded on this planet. More specifically, planet 4546b. At least the wards is nice, but with every ecosystem, it does come with some predators. So far, I have had encounters with stalkers, gasopods, and the creepers of Subnautica, crashfish. All of which were very aggressive. In fact, every time I encountered a crashfish, it would rush towards me and try to explode right in my face like a creeper does.
I don't know where. Oh, here we go, here we go. They're coming, they're coming, they're coming. Oh, they exploded on me.
Although, some of the fauna are indeed friendly and some of them even edible. I have actually found species such as peepers, boomerang, and garyfish, all of which are actually safe to eat. Although I learnt in the last episode that creatures such as the rabbit ray are actually extremely poisonous, so you physically can't eat them. We finished the last episode after building a mobile vehicle bay and a base. Off to a great start. So once again, we are exploring the world of Subnautica and uncovering new materials to help us survive. I actually discovered these strange creatures called reefbacks that are kind of like the whales of Subnautica. And despite being Leviathan class, they're actually quite friendly. I then scanned them, and I actually plan to read about them in the next episode to learn more about them. I realized that something was actually hitting me from behind, so I turned around to find this strange plant called a tiger plant shooting spikes at me. At least I managed to scan the reefbacks, so I'm pretty fine. I then found these creatures that I scanned later, which were called sand sharks, and they seemed to be roughhousing with each other for territory. Due to that, I didn't scan them until I had a good opportunity when one of them was stuck. In that exact same place though, I actually got a vehicle I needed, which was called the Sea Moth. It's very fast and actually offers protection against some predators. As you can see, I also got some blueprints for a laser cutter. This would actually help me cut into doors that are locked through wreckages so I can get more stuff to help me survive. I then get chased by a sand shark, which obviously isn't happy with me going into his territory uninvited. I then got an alert from my radio and I went to go investigate, and it turns out that help was indeed on the way.
This is Sunbeam. You know Aurora. We're from a little transgov on the far side of Andromeda, and we have a saying there. There's no bad without the good, no good without the bad. Sounds like you tasted a bunch of the former, but that only means you're overdue a whole lot of the latter. Might just be we're in. We're scanning for somewhere to park. We'll be in touch when we find it. Sunbeam out.
I then start looking for some resources to help me build a Seamoth, so that way I can be prepared to find the landing spot that they're heading at. Hopefully then, I'll be able to escape. Eventually, I get all the resources I need and start constructing.
The Seamoth is a fast, safe mode of transport, but remember that swimming is good for your glutes and endorphin levels. Welcome aboard, Captain.
After moving around the Seamoth for a little bit, I decided to go ahead and find Officer Keen's last location. We had heard his distress call in the last episode. He stated that the captain was dead and that he had assumed command. He found coordinates for dry land given by the captain. I decided to go see if he was still there. Maybe I could help him. Eventually, when we get there, I actually had to get out of my Seamoth because of the fact it couldn't go as deep as I was planning to go. This was a really risky move as I didn't know what was down there. In fact, I already heard about the Reaper Leviathan before making this video, and because of that, I was too scared to go anywhere too far away from my life pod that I feared it could have been in. I eventually get out of my Seamoth after manning up and decide to go down into the depths of the crater. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I was scared speechless. In fact, I was literally forcing myself to go as far down as I did. We then find out that Officer Keen was nowhere to be seen. But we did get some blueprints for an ultra high capacity tank.
Acquired. Signal location uploaded to PDA.
At some point, I forgot that my oxygen was running out and I was too far away from my Seamoth to get back. I tried so hard to get up there so I could save myself and my Seamoth from getting lost, but then...
You are dead! Not a big surprise.
God f***ing that! Wow, just wow is all I can say.
Not only that, my base was flooded for some reason by the time I respawned, and not only that, I had to get my Seamoth back from that really stressful and painful trip. Although, I definitely was not going to go out there without some form of transportation like a Sea Glide, because if I didn't have that, I'd most likely be ripped apart by a very fast Predator, or possibly even a Reaper Leviathan. I am just too much of a coward to play this game because I can't even go out to the Aurora like a real man because of the fact that I am afraid of that exact same creature from killing me. Okay, let's calm down. Even though I am a massive coward, I can man up and go out there to get my Seamoth, so I decided to try to bring up all the courage I can to get my Seamoth back. Although, once again, I was not going to go out there without a form of transportation, so I decided I was going to get a Sea Glide first. Hopefully then I can take back the stuff I lost.
On the way to finding some resources to build a Sea Glide, I actually found these things called drooping stingers, and I decided to scan them. I later on found out that these were in fact not jellyfish-looking animals, but were actually plants after looking at their PDA entry. After exploring a wreckage to see if I could find some Sea Glide fragments, I eventually get chased by a stalker.
Oxygen.
Clearly this was the stalker's home, so I decided to leave them be for a while. Not only do I get chased by a stalker, but later on I have an encounter with a very angry crashfish. Shortly after it turned nighttime, I eventually find and scan something that I have never seen before. It was called a mesmer, a strange carnivorous life form that has some sort of strange hypnotizing hunting technique in which it lures its prey towards it using some form of pattern on its fins. I don't know why it was here, since I looked it up, and it apparently does not spawn in that area known as the Safe Shallows. But at least I could scan it. I eventually, finally found the last fragment I needed for a Sea Glide.
Select Aqua Oxygen.
I eventually then look at the resources I needed, and then went to go get them.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Thankfully, the resources I needed were easy to get, and not only that, I had plenty of titanium. Now I know I said I was going to be making a sea glide, but I decided to make a better oxygen tank first. Shortly after trying to find the resources, I get another distress call from someone called Ozzy from the cafeteria.
This is Ozzy from the cafeteria. What the hell, guys? They didn't warn us this might happen. Our pod was almost crushed by this Seamoth Bay on the way down. Now we're hanging on the edge of a cave system, and this grim-looking snake thing's trying to eat through the hull. Come get us already.
Signal location uploaded to PDA.
I then finish my sea glide, and finally am ready to go get my Seamoth back.
The Sea Glide will increase your effective exploration range. For your safety, please pack supplies for long journeys and stay within 5 kilometers of the nearest life pod or habitat.
After zooming over, we finally found a Seamoth and are ready to head back home.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
And there we have it. We got our Seamoth back and are ready to continue exploring. Shortly after recovering my Seamoth, I decided to go find Ozzy from the cafeteria. We then find his life pod completely wrecked with a large hole in it. We also found his PDA, which will no doubt contain logs of what happened to him that day. I then went to explore the strange cave system nearby, and it was definitely the one Ozzy was talking about. We then find this beautiful yet haunting new biome, which apparently, according to the sources I found, it was called the Jelly Shroom Cave.
The conditions in this cave support a microcosm of unique, possibly predatory life forms. Detecting an artificial structure somewhere in the region.
Warning, maximum depth reached. Hull damage imminent.
As you could hear, this place supports some form of predator, so I definitely had to be careful. But not only that, I couldn't go too deep due to being down low in the cave system, and my Seamoth probably would have gotten damaged if I went any deeper than 200 meters. Not only that, I'd be running out of oxygen a lot quicker when I go down 200 meters. I quite literally had to go up at the roof of the cave with my Seamoth to avoid it getting destroyed. Over and over and over again. I then get another message on my radio, which I clearly couldn't answer because I was down in the cave. After having to constantly repair my Seamoth, I eventually realized that these predators that were with me were these strange eel things called crab snakes. I then find out that there was someone down here a long time ago, and I decided to scan the habitat for some resources like a multi-purpose room. After scanning parts of the habitat, I decided to get out of the cave and answer the radio call I missed.
Aurora, we're approaching the planet now. We have a landing site for you that's... well, it's better than the alternatives. We've sent you the coordinates. It'll take us a couple of days to align our orbit. We should be able to establish direct contact with you during that time. Then we're coming in to get you. Cross your fingers, the weather holds. Don't leave us waiting. Sunbeam out.
Before I went to go find Sunbeam, I decided to build a multi-purpose room to expand my base.
It may be prudent to separate work and leisure spaces to maximize productivity. Treat this space as your home, but never forget that it is not.
I then tried to get the sunbeam, but of course when I saw these things called bone sharks, I immediately chickened out. Again, blame me, I am 100% a coward. I later on decided to build an aquarium to store some little fish in. After getting the fish I felt I need to make my aquarium, I decided to end the stream there. And there you have it, everybody. I will hopefully be back for more Subnautica, but for now, this concludes our video. Will I make it off the planet alive, or be eaten alive by my gray sphere? Who even knows? But anyways guys, if you enjoyed this video, then leave a like, and if you want to see more of my content and possibly more commentaries in the future, then hit the subscribe button and let me know, and I'll see you all on the next adventure. Peace out everyone!